Is Tecno's follow-up to their affordable Flip better than the first version? The short answer is yes, but there are some things we have to talk about. First is the price of the Tecno Phantom V Flip 2, which is priced at $34,999, but you can get it as low as $27,999 on Tecno's Tecno Shop on December 6 or $28,999 on Shopee on December 8. But the question is that even at those discounted prices, is the Tecno Phantom V Flip 2 worth it? It really depends. Because in terms of build quality, the team and I definitely think that this feels more premium. Parang quality na ng mas mamahaling flip gaya ng gawa ng Samsung. Leah, who's the team's go-to for flip devices, says the hinge feels closer to Oppo's offering, which is neither a good or bad thing. It definitely feels sturdy and a lot more refined compared to Tecno's first version of their Flip. They're also using a gapless design on the Flip 2 just like we've seen on other brands, which means we should be seeing less of a crease develop over time as you use this device. The back has a matte finish that feels good in the hand, but let's be honest here, matatakpan niya ng included case, but just in case na gusto nyong magpaka-quiet luxury at di nyo gagamitin yung case, masarap siyang hawakan. I'm sure you've also noticed it. It's also got a gold frame, which usually isn't my cup of tea, but it goes well with grain, so it makes a lot of sense on this device. Now, just a reminder, walang IP rating ang Phantom V Flip 2, and even if it did, I would still be cautious getting it wet. But let's move on to something else that the team and I liked about this phone, which is the outer display. It's at 3.64 inches and a lot more usable than the circular design that Tecno's first Flip had. You can actually go on Facebook or Instagram and enjoy the app experience without unfolding the phone, which can be helpful if you just want to quickly check what's going on. Definitely not advisable for a tito like me who now needs reading glasses, but it's good to know that it's not just widgets, diba? In terms of the main display, it measures in at 6.9 inches and has a 120Hz refresh rate, but Tecno is using an LTPO panel for the Flip 2, which means it can adjust the refresh rate depending on what you're doing. Typical of most AMOLED displays, the picture quality looks fantastic with vibrant colors and deep blacks, but it is important to note that you will be getting more black bars on the sides of whatever you're watching because of the aspect ratio of the display. Its brightness was also good for outdoor use, which is yet another sign that Tecno really is serious about upping their game when it comes to foldables. In terms of camera performance, we are getting a pair of 50-megapixel cameras on the Flip 2, a wide and an ultra-wide, and snaps from both generally turned out great with a surprising amount of detail, but there are times when shots are too over-processed for my taste and the colors are a bit much for my liking, so in that regard, Tecno still has some catching up to do. In terms of video, the Flip 2 can shoot up to 4K 30, but if you want extremely stable footage, you will be restricted to 1080p, which isn't surprising, and I would advise that you turn down the exposure to get a bit more contrast in your clips. Now, Tecno has also included the DV mode, which makes you use the Flip 2 like a camcorder from, I guess, my era, and it slaps a filter on it and then also puts the aspect ratio to 4:3, so it does look like it's coming from a camcorder. But I think it's a little gimmicky and I'm not a fan of the look of the baked-in filters, but it's there if you feel the desire to use it, but some of those filters are pretty tacky. But of course, we also have to talk about the overall performance of the Phantom V Flip 2. Is it any good? Well, that also depends on what you're looking for in a phone. So the Flip 2 has a Dimensity 8020, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of storage, which is more than capable of handling my day-to-day tasks. But take note, tito na ako, so that's mostly messaging, going on social media to dig up what the recent chismis is because I was already asleep when everything unfolded, and watching reels to share to my wife and close friends. But if you're looking for a phone that you can game on as well, you might want to look for another phone. Now, I say this because the thermals on the Phantom V Flip 2 just isn't cutting it. It got noticeably hot just when we were updating the game to show some B-roll for you guys, and you can clearly see the phone struggling at maintaining solid frame rates while playing games. Another thing that has to be brought to your attention is the battery life. Our battery benchmark had this clock in at 8 hours, and with real-world use, I was reaching for a power bank towards the middle of the afternoon. The bright side here is that the Flip 2 does support 70-watt charging, so you can top up the 4,720 mAh battery very quickly. Okay, verdict time. Should you get the Tecno Phantom V Flip 2? It really depends on your wants and needs. Because if you really want or need the compact form factor that a Flip can bring, then the answer is yes. And if you're not expecting to game on your phone or just want to play light games to pass the time, then maybe this is a phone that you can consider. The overall battery life is something to consider as well, because that means you might have the form factor of a Flip, but that also means having to bring either the charger or a power bank, something I think most of us do anyway. Of course, there's also the matter of software updates. Now, Tecno is saying that the phone will get 2 major OS updates and 3 years of security updates, so enough na ba yun para sa inyo? Lastly, of course, is the durability of the device itself. Now, we've been hearing and seeing a lot of things happening to foldables in general. Now, I've only been using this device for a week, so I really can't talk about the long-term durability of the Phantom V Flip 2. And while I can appreciate what foldables bring to the table, I am also a firm believer that the more moving parts you have, the more chances that there's something that will fail in the future. So you really have to consider this part. But that being said, ang hirap din i-resist nung discounted prices para sa Phantom V Flip 2. There are more details about the Phantom V Flip on our website, so please check out the review written by Dewey. And if you found this helpful, please consider hitting that subscribe button. But that's it for me. My name is Tito James. Peace, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time.